All right, class, let's go ahead and just start working through these proofs on the Extra Review section 2.7, okay? So I've already written the given here for the first one. So it says that ray NQ bisects segment MR, and we have to use, all right, the definition of a segment bisector, okay, which is a line ray or segment that passes through the midpoint of a segment, okay? So using that, the fact that it passes through the midpoint, I have to state that this point N is the midpoint, and that has to be my second step, all right? N is the midpoint, and I want you to be specific of which segment, so of MR. And the reason why we know that is through the definition of segment bisector. Okay. All right, so we're going to now build off the fact that N is the midpoint of MR, right? So what that means then is that segment MN is congruent to segment NR, all right? So that's going to be my next step, is that segment MN is congruent to segment NR, and that is by midpoint theorem. And we're going to keep going off of that, all right, because if segments are congruent, that means that they have the same length, right? So to talk about the length one more time, remember, what's the MN without the hat, all right? So the length of MN is equal to the length of NR, and that's through definition of congruence. So that kind of flowed really nicely up into that point, but that kind of like stuck us, all right? We can't really build off anything more of MN is equal to NR, so we have to look at our picture. And if we take a look at our picture, we can write the segment addition. We can go back to our best friend here, and we can write the segment addition for MR, right? Which is segment MN plus NR is equal to the full length of MR, okay? So that's step 5 is MN plus NR is equal to the full length of MR. And that's going to be through segment addition. So let's kind of take a check, all right, like just a pulse of where we're at. So what are we trying to prove? So what we're trying to prove is that MR is equal to 2 times NR, right? So if you look at what I have MR, I have NR, but I still have the MN, right? So what I have to do is I need to look at my step 4 and recognize that, oh, my MN is equal to NR, which means I can take that NR and plug it in for that MN right there. So what I'm going to get is NR plus NR equals MR. And that right there is through substitution. And if you look, I have NR plus NR, which I'm going to simplify, and I'm going to get 2NR is equal to MR. And that, again, is through simplify, not through addition, because we're not adding to both sides. We're just simplifying. And then my last step is it has to match exactly, so I have to flip-flop the MR and the 2NR, and I'm going to have MR is equal to 2 times NR, and that last step is through the symmetric property. Okay, all right, I'm going to pause there. I'm just going to do these proof by proof, so if people only have questions on proof number 1, they can just watch this video, and same with like all the others, okay? All right, that's it.